Hello everyone, this is Myths and Magic, and welcome back to part 7 of the D&D story series in Campaign 1. Thank you for your recent support. I really appreciate the fact that some of you guys are liking and, of course, viewing the videos. I would also appreciate it if you could subscribe. And as usual, I hope you're very relaxed, I hope you have a nice drink with you, and please sit back, relax, and enjoy. The party awake, with a goal to find the meaning to all this. They go to Tolben's Stonehill, the innkeeper, and ask about the whereabouts of the first dwarf brother, Gundren Rockseeker. Tolben explains that the dwarf had run away to the northeast coast. Something had scared him in Phandelver that would force him to run away from the entirety of the island. Rumours have spread, saying that he is staying in a large mansion, someplace far from here and in the north, and that he hopes to take a ship to the Bloodstones. Tolben said they'd be wise to hire someone who was used to the cold conditions of the north. He then gestured to someone over in the corner of the inn. He said that he was a Goliath from the far south, someone well versed in strength and combat. He was hooded in a brown cloak, beneath a large frame, so large he was cramped in the corner of the inn. He was easily nearing 9 feet in height, yet was still muscle-bound. Next to him was a large axe, and on his body was leather armor with skulls and trophies of war adorning it. He had rough striation-riddled skin, with black markings flowing throughout. Markings easily mistaken for tattoos, but were a naturally occurring feature in Goliaths. The party headed over. Hello, said Freya. I'm Freya. The guy next to me is Augustus, and here's Bellicor, he said, stroking his hound's fur. We want to ask a favor, Augustus declared. We plan to head to the north coast. We heard your kind were adepts in the cold, and you seem to be well versed in combat too. We ask for your protection and general aid for the journey. How much? He accepted, so that was the first good sign. Now came the hard part. Augustus, what's our funding like? I'm sure we have enough. How about this? 50 gold, the warlock said with a smile. Augustus glared at Freya, side-eyeing him. Too stingy for me. For travelling so far up north, I reckon there's deserving of more. What about 70? Said Freya. There was a pause until the Goliath responded with a nod. Great. I just need to have a chat with my partner here, Freya said, dragging Augustus. You're underpaying that man there, said Augustus. Yeah, so what? I don't mind, I just think that's a bit dishonourable. Just don't tell him we're underpaying him. You know, if he mysteriously dies, we don't have to pay him, Freya gestured. The large Goliath from the corner spoke. You know my race are quite adept at hearing. The rest of the day passes, and the pair tried to keep as far away as possible from the Goliath. On the morrow, they prepared their gear and trusty cart, packing warm clothes, gear for a fire, a kettle and a wine, with some spices to accompany it. Of course, general rations and camping equipment was brought along too, but alongside this was Freya's new staff. It was the glass staff stolen from the wizard who shared the same namesake. They set out for the long journey ahead, picking up the Goliath from the inn. Augustus kept silent for the first day. He wasn't really much of a talker anyway, but in actuality, he didn't know the Goliath's name. Somehow Freya had made decent small talk with him. So, where'd you come from? He asked. Down in Icarus. A heavy silence fell among the group. Gods be good, were you... Yes. Oh, my apologies, I meant no disrespect, of course. Goliath slavery has always been a touchy subject. How such a strong race fell to the southern dwarfs' will was a mystery to everyone. Only the dwarves and their close accomplices knew of the vile eldritch technology that enslaved them. These dark secrets were kept hidden beneath a veil of lies and sunk deep in the great mountain castles of the snow spires. Tales and songs of magic shackles and fell sorceries has emerged, but only as myths. Freya broke the awkward silence. Oh, hang on, I believe we have yet to hear your name, he mentioned. Ronnarth, the grey behemoth responded. Pleased to meet your acquaintance. As my partner here said, I am Augustus. The warlock reared his head around. Prince of the Eternals, he said, half jesting. Oh, like the gods, Ronnarth said, laughing. Okay, show me a trick. I'm not a parlour monkey. I won't do tricks for you. Then you're no god. Fine. Why don't you fetch me some of that dirt water there? He said, pointing to the lake. Ronnarth carried a bucket and filled it up with brown and green water. The sickly stuff coiled in metallic pangs. Augustus held out his hand over the water and casted a spell, with warm light emanating from his palms. After a few seconds, he removed his hand, revealing fresh and clean water. How's that for a trick? He asked boldly. Oh, not bad. The group of now 4 set out on their journey north. Camping here and there, Augustus prayed for a safe travel every night and every day, and it appeared as God had been kind. The terrain rose as they went further, as the region was more mountainous. By the 5th day, they saw snow, and halfway through the next week, the snow laid thicker. Eventually, something caught their eye. A mansion, enveloped in the snow, stood on the side of the road, with a ring wall surrounding it. Embedded in the wall was a gate, or rather what was left of its hinges, as the actual gate was torn off. No light came from the house save for an observatory that stood high on top of the house. Just inside the wall was a tent with bloodstains. They stopped off the cart by the side of the mansion. Perhaps this was the place they were looking for. Do you reckon this is it? Ronnarth asked. This could be a good place to sneak tonight. No, Freya replied. I don't like this place. It creeps me out. Look, I mean, it's not entirely abandoned. It looks fine from here. Just that all the lights are off except that one up top. How do you explain the blood and that gate? Freya shrugged. Maybe they had an accident or something. Augustus suddenly spoke up, with his metallic voice bouncing off his golden mask. I sense no life in this house, save for that observatory. Well, Freya exclaimed, it's too strange not to search through, right, guys? Plus, if we get rid of what's up there, maybe ask nicely, we could sleep by a warm hearth tonight and find some answers. I would do more than ask nicely for a nice house like that, said the Goliath, wielding his great axe. They walked through the sundered gates and entered the snow-filled yard. The torches laid black and charged with ash, and snow atop the sconces. No light came from the ground level, and all the torches' light had died out. There was no noise except for the soft crunch of snow, which seemed to resonate through the atmosphere. First they went to the tents. The tent was white except for the splatters of blood. Claw marks shredded through the cloth, allowing the group to peer through, as inside. A corpse, lifeless and unmoving. Still no noise emanated from their surroundings, until shuffling came from the tent. Before anyone could say anything, a fell, horrid shape shambled out. A thin frame with rotting green flesh almost melting off, lumbered awkwardly towards them. The fell being was short of stature, and it was garbed in travelling gear. What was left of its rotting face was ginger-brown hair and a thick bushy beard. Suddenly it stopped. A metal clink came from the chain, holding back the undead as it grasped at the metal collar clasped around its neck. The group stared in silence until Ronnarth roared, swinging his axe in an arc, slicing the dwarf's head clean off. Whew. You guys alright? Yep, just fine, man. Good job, Freya said. Augustus went to pick up the severed head. Well, this is the half-man we're looking for, or what's left of him. Anything on the rest of his body that's useful, like money, gear? Freya looked at the rotting corpse and back at the pair. I just got these clothes washed after Tresendar Manor. I'm not touching that thing. I'll do it, said the grey giant. He ripped through the clothes. Some strips of flesh and muscle fell off, but when he was finished, Ronnarth held up a small gold pouch and a map. Freya inspected the map. It was of Phandelver, with a red trail leading further north to the deep mountain ranges. I think this is what we've been looking for. It's a map to the lost mines. Finally some answers, Augustus said. The Goliath spoke up. So, you guys are looking for the mines? No, I'll come if I get a share. Well, Freya, we'll need all the help we can get. Freya looked towards the chains that held what was left of the dwarf. What bothered him was the mansion and the still shining observatory light. Augustus, there's still someone up there. Yes, he said after a pause. The group of four looked towards the mansion ahead, casting a looming shadow over the party as they prepared to go in. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you really enjoyed. As usual, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and of course, feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll see you again in the next video.